Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do a quick sort of overview, rapid review type thing on the tactile knives here that I got in from traditionalpocketknives.com. So big shout out to Austin over at traditionalpocketknives.com. Great dude, great products, and yeah. So I have the Rockwall and I have the Bear here. Oops. And they're both in the DLC finish with his jigged titanium exclusive pattern, which has kind of a faux bolsters, got some flutes, and then the jig tie look. And then they're DLC coated. Now, this product is also available in a just normal finish, which I think is a stonewash from Tactile, and stonewashed titanium on the handles. So you can get it either way. The DLC adds $100. Pretty sure these are both, all those versions are available right now at traditionalpocketknives.com. I think this one's somewhere around, man, I should have looked it up, but I think it's somewhere around, you know what, let's look it up right now. Sorry. I was going to say $250, but I could be completely wrong, and then we're up shit creek. Because Kev lied. That son of a bee. He lied. All right, exclusive knives, sorry. All right, so very professionally, the Rockwall is coming in at $329 in Magna Cut with a gray titanium. So basically, bead blast or stonewash handle, bead blast, stonewash blade. I think it's stonewashed. And then the DLC is $429. So you add 100 bones for the DLC, but it's real DLC done in the United States, so I get it. The Bear is $229 and $329. So you're again adding 100 bones for DLC, and so you're basically $100 cheaper on the Bear than the Rockwall. And that could be because, you know, it's a little bit more complicated to do a, you know, locking knife with bearings, and I don't know. Slip joints honestly aren't that easy, but maybe they've dialed the construction down here, which is something we're going to talk about. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, $100 less. It's also a lot less material, I guess. It's a very thin knife. Both are in Magna Cut, and both are at 61 HRC, and I'll admit in the unboxing I got a little finicky about that and was like, you know, it's a 61. I thought they were doing better than that now. And, you know, these were made in September, I think. They're dated in November, but I think they were actually made in September because I took this one apart, which, by the way, I didn't film it, but if you can check out somebody's disassembly of this knife, it is very unique and cool. The back spacer kind of integrates with the clip when you're putting it together, and it's very, very cool. I really enjoyed taking it apart. And that down there isn't like a chip or anything. That's part of the it's part of the construction. It's just really cool. But anyway, I saw a date in there. I think it said 9/22, and then the COAs said 11/22. So, you know, they have to make the knife, and that takes time. So they probably did the handle in a batch, right? And then they sent it to DLC or whatever. And then when they did the COA, it was November, right? And I think at that point they were already doing Magna Cut at higher HRC. But I'm wondering if maybe the HRC is after DLC coating, because OEMs tell me this all the time. When we do blackwash on knives, DLC on knives, PVD on knives, it knocks a point or two off. And that's because it has to be heated up to apply the coating. And so it can put the steel, I guess, into an annealed state or whatever, and bring that HRC down a couple points. Usually it's like 1 point, but it can be 2. So this could have been at 63, 62 HRC Magna Cut, and then that DLC brought it down to 61. That's my guess. The other end of that is it could be it was at 61, they added the DLC, and now it could be at, you know, 59 or 60. But I'm going to go ahead and guess it's probably at 61 with DLC, and that is why it's a point or two lower than we would expect. Does that make sense? And regardless, for me personally, it's not that big of a deal. I go back and forth on that matter to where I care and then I don't care. Because, you know, I don't do stuff to where it really matters all that much. But I do want to get what I pay for. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I didn't pay for these, but I'm reviewing them. So, and these are going out to other reviewers. I've already sent the fixed blade I got in that package out, and these two are going as well. I want to pass these around, and then I'll figure out what I do with them after. So, that's some basics there. Let's just knock out the Rockwall. I really like this guy a lot. The action on it is stupid. They've really dialed it in from the first run that I got. The detent is a little weaker than it was on the first run, which is a positive because it was an absolute tank when they first came out. And you can see how this stud tucks into the handle, and it's a very straight push. And so you really almost need no detent with this knife to get a clean pop. And so having, you know, just a solid detent, it's so good. And listen, it tings. Oh, it's so cool. Now, I did put Sharpie on the tang there because I was getting stick. So every once in a while, I get a little bit of a click. It's not like deadly lock stick or anything. It's just, you know, I can hear it click and I have to push through it a little bit. But for the most part, it's been really clean. And since putting that on there, it's been basically gone. So I do want to monitor that, but I don't think it's a big deal. I'm honestly thinking it's going to break in perfectly. The centering is dead on. Like I said, the construction's really cool. You got all T8 construction. It's a very fun knife. I mean, they've really got this action dialed in. I put skips in here, but it wasn't like it needed skips. The action was already this good. But you can see it'll drop, bounce off my nail, and then just swing down. I love the DLC. So glad they did that. I mean, it's just a cool look. Is it worth an extra $100? I don't know. That's up to you. Would I pay $430 for this knife? It's USA made in Magna Cut. Got cool milling. It's an exclusive to a cool company. If I really wanted it, yeah, I would pay that. But, you know, I think $430 is a bit much. I think I would easily pay the $329 in the full stonewash. So, you know, it's kind of the answer somewhere in the middle. If you really like the DLC, I think it's worth the extra $100. Do I think they're overcharging? Not really. I mean, USA, all that stuff. That $330 price point is on point, in my opinion. So it's just the DLC cost that throws things off a little bit, and that's kind of, you know, up to you if you want to pay it. But I really like this a lot. It's really good in the hand, and, you know, my original review of this knife wasn't as positive as it is now. I think this knife is fantastic. I think they've really come a long way with it. I think updating the detent and not having it be so tight makes it to where I can disengage this so much easier. I had such a pain in the ass time trying to disengage this knife originally because that lock bar was hard to push over and the action wasn't like this. I mean, now it's just like butter getting in there. So they've come a long way with this, and I'm really happy to see that, and I'm happy to kind of update my review on it and give them some props because they absolutely killed this. The blade seems really good. I mean, their edge is still not perfect, but it's a lot better than the original ones I got as well. So they're definitely working on things. And this is from November. I've heard they keep getting even better and better with the sharpening out the door. So that's the Rockwall. And the Bear is kind of the same story. It's still, in my opinion, you know, one of the best USA-made slip joints you can get. The thinness of it is amazing. I just love how it disappears into a slip or pocket, and it's like, yeah. Such a cool design. I love the DLC on this one. Again, is it worth that $330? I think that's tough. For 230, it's an absolute yes. For the titanium one, the gray tie one. So, you know, I think it is worth the $329 for this one. Now, you're not going to get Jack Wolf walk and talk, but you can hear they've really improved. If you watch my initial videos on these, they definitely do not pop like this. This is very well done. They have, I think they've updated their tang geometry and their spring tension stronger now. This is definitely feeling less mushy, for sure. I like it, actually. It's satisfying to open and close. Do I wish the spring was stronger? Yes, but it's a very thin knife. Like, how much stronger can you make a spring, right? But other than that, it's really, really satisfying. Now, you do have the downsides to this one where you have the gapping. So between the scales and the spring, there is a pretty wide margin of a gap. It's going to be really hard to show you. I don't know if this would help somehow. But I can see through there. There you go. Like, I can see through, see the pins, which I think is kind of, you know, the way they did the pins, I guess. The pins are too long, maybe, and it's not letting it, you know, I can, you know, squeeze it a little bit. Now, I did try to tighten this screw, and I couldn't. I couldn't loosen it or tighten it. I tried to do it to these, couldn't loosen or tighten it, because I was thinking maybe I just need to, like, you know, reset it or something. But it's, like, red Loctited in position. I used a stubby driver and couldn't even budge it. So I don't know what's going on there. They have it set where they have it set, and you know, there is a lot of side-to-side play. This is not flex because it's a thin blade. This is side-to-side play. There's quite a bit. And the spring is not flush in all three positions. It is in the half in the open, but in the closed position, it sits a little bit proud of the scale. The centering, you know, I can push it around because it's such a thin blade and everything. You know, you can kind of get it centered, and because it's a little bit loose, you can do whatever. But it kind of wants to sit over to this side, as you can see there. So I don't know why they didn't make it to where I can freaking adjust my knife, but whatever. It works. It's not rubbing, and the action's actually really good, the walk and talk. So it's not like I'm going to go doing hard use with this anyway. So the little bit of the, you know, the side to side isn't the end of the world. So I gotta say, it's still really good. I love that it's USA made. It's definitely not anywhere near a Jack Wolf in the quality and the fit and finish and all of that. But, you know, we gotta judge things for what they are. This is a super slim slip joint, and they had to make sacrifices for it to be 0.27 thin or whatever. So I get it, and I love it. So there you go. That's the Bear and the Rockwall in DLC from traditionalpocketknives.com. Go check them out. My link is down in the description if you want to use it. It does support the channel. Austin always has cool things. He, of course, has the Jack Wolfs every month and a lot of other traditionals, GECs and stuff like that if you're into them. And then he does bridge the gap with some modern stuff as well as like fixed blades. So good people over there, so I try to support them. But of course, using those links is completely up to you guys. I do want to mention this does have a captive pivot system. You can see right here. I did find it a little odd that the tooled screw is on this side, but I think it has a lot to do with the construction. And if you watch somebody's disassembly, you'll see what I mean. That's at least my theory on that. And I wish I had done the video, but I was kind of doing it off camera, and then I was like, shit, I should have recorded this, but now it's done. So, yeah, really cool knives, really cool setup. And you can see here, this one, see the tooling is on, or the captive one is on this side, which makes sense because it's the show side. Tooled screw over here. This one is the opposite. So, interesting. But I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. Thank you again to Austin. I'm going to get these off to the next guy. I believe it's going to be Puerto Rican with a knife. So definitely check out Jason's channel. And I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.